Welcome to Life Lessons After 60. This is a place for wisdom earned through time. Not trends, not noise, just honest reflections from a life well lived. Here, we talk about the lessons no one teaches you when you're young, the truths you only understand after decades of living, loving, failing, and trying again. If you're over 60, you belong here. If you're younger and willing to learn from experience, you're welcome too. New videos every week. Sit back, take a breath, and let's reflect together.
Some lessons only come with age. Not because we were stubborn, not because we didn't listen, but because experience is the only teacher that doesn't accept shortcuts. When we're young, we believe knowledge is enough. We think if we read enough books, hear enough advice, make enough plans, we'll figure life out early. But life doesn't work that way. Life teaches in years, in losses, in quiet mornings, in long nights, in moments where no one is watching and no one is clapping. And after 60, something changes. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but deeply. The noise fades, the urgency softens, the illusions fall away, and what remains is truth.
Lesson 1. Peace is better than being right. When we are young, being right feels powerful. It feels like strength, like proof that we matter, like evidence that we are smart, capable, worthy. So we argue to win. We defend our opinions fiercely, sometimes loudly, sometimes stubbornly, as if our identity itself depends on being correct. We interrupt others, we correct them, we push our point again and again. And deep down, we believe that if people would just listen, if they truly understood us, they would agree. But life has a way of teaching lessons that no argument ever could. And after 60, you begin to learn something surprising. You realize how expensive being right can be. It can cost relationships. It can turn simple conversations into lifelong distance. It can create silence where laughter once lived. Being right can steal your sleep. You lie awake at night, replaying words, imagining better responses, wishing you had said less, not more. Being right can harden the heart, slowly, quietly, without you even noticing. And it can keep wounds open long after they should have healed. With time, you begin to see something clearly. Most arguments were never about truth. They were about ego. About fear, about pride, about unhealed pain quietly asking to be heard. And suddenly, peace becomes more valuable than proof. You stop asking, how do I win this? And you start asking different questions. Does this really matter? Will this matter next year, 5 years from now, at the end of my life? Is winning this argument worth the tension it creates, the distance it builds, the love it slowly erodes? And more often than not, the answer is no. After 60, you begin to understand that walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom. It takes strength to stay silent when your ego wants to speak. It takes courage to let go when your pride wants the last word. You learn that silence can protect your peace better than any explanation ever could. Not every misunderstanding needs clarification. Not every opinion needs defending. Not every battle deserves your energy. You realize that your peace is more important than proving a point. You don't need to convince everyone. You don't need validation from every conversation. You don't need the last word. What you truly need is a calm heart, a steady breath, a quiet mind, and relationships that feel safe, not strained. After 60, you begin choosing peace intentionally. You choose not to react immediately. You choose to pause. You choose to let things pass. You learn that letting go is sometimes the most powerful response of all. And here is the quiet truth no one tells you when you are young. Being right may satisfy the ego, but peace heals the soul. Peace allows you to sleep at night. Peace softens your heart. Peace keeps love alive. And when you reach this stage of life, you understand something deeply. You were never meant to win every argument. You were meant to live gently, love deeply, and rest peacefully. Because in the end, a calm heart is worth far more than being right.
Lesson 2. Silence is powerful. When we are young, silence feels uncomfortable. It feels awkward, heavy, unnatural. So we rush to fill it. We fill every quiet space with words. We explain too much. We defend too often. We speak quickly, sometimes before we even understand what we're responding to. In youth, silence feels like weakness. We believe that staying quiet means losing, that not responding means we don't matter, that if we don't speak up immediately, our voice will disappear. So we talk, and talk, and talk some more. But age teaches restraint. After 60, you begin to understand something deeply important. Silence is not emptiness. It is presence. Silence is awareness. Silence is control. Silence is strength that doesn't need to announce itself. You learn that silence allows you to observe instead of react, to listen instead of interrupt, to understand instead of assume, and to respond with intention instead of impulse. With time, you realize that not everything deserves your voice. Some people aren't listening. They're only waiting for their turn to respond. Some conversations are not about understanding. They are about winning. And some situations don't need clarity. They need distance. After 60, you stop trying to explain yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. You stop repeating yourself, hoping this time they'll hear you. You stop exhausting your energy trying to prove your worth, because you finally see the truth. Your silence speaks louder than any argument ever could. You also begin to recognize that some arguments don't need resolution. They need to end. Not every disagreement needs a closure. Not every conflict needs a final conversation. Not every relationship deserves continued access to you. Silence becomes a boundary. A quiet one, but a powerful one. It says, I choose peace over chaos. I choose myself over proving a point. I choose calm over control. Silence becomes a shield. It protects your energy, your time, your emotional well-being. You no longer feel obligated to respond immediately. You no longer feel pressured to justify your choices. You no longer need to fill every pause. And something changes inside you. You begin to feel lighter, calmer, more grounded. After 60, you stop fearing silence. You begin to respect it. You understand that silence is not avoidance. It is discernment. It is knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. It is knowing that your peace is more important than your opinion. You also realize something else. You no longer need to prove who you are. Your life has already spoken. Your values are visible in how you live. Your character is evident in how you treat others. Your wisdom shows in what you no longer engage with. You don't need to explain yourself to those who don't value your presence. And in silence, you begin to hear something you once ignored. Your own voice. Not the loud voice of ego. Not the defensive voice of fear. But the quiet, steady voice within. The one that knows when to walk away. the one that knows when to let go, the one that knows what truly matters. In that quiet, you reconnect with yourself. You hear your thoughts more clearly. You feel your emotions more honestly. You understand your limits without guilt. Silence gives you space. Space to breathe. Space to reflect. Space to choose peace. And after 60, you understand this simple truth. Silence is not the absence of power. It is power refined. It is wisdom that no longer needs approval. It is confidence that doesn't require noise. And in that quiet, you finally hear yourself more clearly than ever before.
Lesson 3. True friends are rare. When you were young, friends seemed to be everywhere. School friends, work friends, social friends, friends of convenience. You meet people easily, you laugh often, you share time, stories, and moments. And you assume this is friendship. You mistake proximity for loyalty. You think that spending time together means someone truly knows you. You believe that shared history automatically creates depth. But life has a way of revealing truth. Time passes, circumstances change, challenges arrive unannounced, and slowly, the crowd becomes smaller. After 60, you realize something many people never fully accept. You can count your true friends on one hand, and sometimes even fewer. And that isn't sad, it's honest. True friends are rare because real loyalty is rare. True friends are the ones who stayed when it became uncomfortable, when you were no longer fun, when you were tired, when you were struggling, when life humbled you. They didn't disappear when you needed support instead of laughter. They didn't distance themselves when your success made them insecure. They didn't judge you when you failed, changed, or slowed down. True friends don't drain you. You don't feel exhausted after seeing them. You don't rehearse conversations in your head. You don't feel like you need to perform. With true friends, you can just be. They don't require constant contact to remain real. You can go weeks, sometimes months, without speaking, and when you reconnect, nothing feels forced. No explanations needed, no guilt, no pressure. True friends understand silence. They understand that life gets heavy, that energy changes, that priorities shift. They allow you to grow without feeling threatened. They allow you to change without demanding you stay the same. They allow you to be human. After 60, you stop chasing people. You stop sending messages that are never returned. You stop making all the effort while others give none. You stop forcing connections that no longer feel mutual. You realize that friendship should not feel like work. You let go of those who only show up when it's convenient, those who disappear in difficult seasons, those who call only when they need something, those who were present for the good times but absent for the hard ones. And instead, you cherish deeply those who remain, the ones who check on you without a reason, the ones who sit with you in silence and don't rush to fix you, the ones who listen without judging, the ones who respect your boundaries and your peace. After 60, you understand that quality will always matter more than quantity. One genuine friend is worth more than a room full of acquaintances. Because true friendship isn't about how often you talk, it's about how safe you feel. It's about trust, consistency, respect. It's about knowing that someone sees you as you are, not as what you can offer. True friends don't compete with you. They don't measure themselves against your life. They celebrate your victories without resentment. They sit with you in loss without discomfort. They stay. And that staying is everything.
After 60, you no longer mourn the friends you lost. You understand why they couldn't come with you. Different paths, different values, different depths. And that's okay, because the ones who remain are rare, and rarity makes them precious. You protect those friendships, you invest in them, you don't take them for granted. Because you know now, true friends are not found everywhere. They are found slowly, tested by time, proven by life. And once you have them, you hold them close. Lesson 4. Aging is not weakness. For most of our lives, society tells us a very clear story about aging. That getting older means decline. That it means becoming slower, less relevant, less useful, less valuable. We're taught to fear age, to hide it, to fight it. We're told that youth is strength and age is something to apologize for. But life teaches a different truth. And after 60, you begin to understand it deeply. Aging is not weakness. Aging is refinement. It is life stripping away what is unnecessary and leaving behind what truly matters. You may move slower now, but you see farther. You notice things you once rushed past. You recognize patterns you once ignored. You sense danger, truth, and sincerity long before words are spoken. You may speak less, but when you do speak, your words carry weight. You don't waste them on arguments that go nowhere. You don't raise your voice to feel powerful. You've learned that wisdom doesn't need volume. You may do less, but what you do matters more. Your energy is no longer scattered. Your focus is intentional. You choose carefully where your time goes, who gets your attention, and what deserves your effort. After 60, you understand something important. Strength is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand attention. Strength is quiet. It's endurance. It's patience. It's resilience. It's getting up again after life knocked you down. And life did knock you down. You've lived through heartbreak, the kind that changes you, the kind that takes time to heal, the kind that teaches you how fragile love can be. You've lived through loss, people you never imagined losing, moments you wish you could relive, versions of life that no longer exist. You've lived through disappointment, dreams that didn't work out, plans that fell apart, people who didn't show up the way you hoped. You've lived through change, sudden change, painful change, unavoidable change. And still, you are here, breathing, learning, growing. That is strength. After 60, you stop measuring strength by how much you can lift or how fast you can move. You measure it by how much you survived, by the storms you endured, by the pain you carried, by the lessons you learned. Wrinkles are not flaws. They are records. Each line tells a story of laughter shared, of worry carried, of love given freely, of nights survived quietly. They are proof that you lived fully, that you felt deeply, that you stayed when it would have been easier to harden. Aging does not take away your power. It changes its form. Your power is no longer in proving yourself, it's in knowing yourself. Your power is no longer in chasing approval, it's in self-respect. After 60, you stop trying to look younger. You start trying to live truer. You accept your pace. You honor your limits. You listen to your body instead of fighting it. And in that acceptance, you find peace. You realize that age didn't weaken you.
it strengthened you quietly. It softened your ego and sharpened your understanding. It took away what didn't matter and revealed what always did. Aging is not the loss of power. It is the evolution of it. It is wisdom replacing impulse, depth replacing noise, peace replacing pressure. And after 60, you no longer apologize for your age. You wear it with calm confidence, because you know now, you are not less. You are layered. You are not weak. You are resilient. And everything you've lived through has shaped a strength that no youth could ever replace.
Lesson 5. Letting go is freedom. One of the hardest lessons in life is learning when to release. We hold on to old grudges, past mistakes, people who hurt us, versions of ourselves that no longer fit. We think holding on keeps us safe, but after 60, you learn the truth. Holding on is heavy. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean approving. It means choosing peace over pain. You let go of needing closure from people who can't give it. You let go of regret for choices made with the knowledge you had then. You let go of resentment that only poisons you. You understand that forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. And with every release, life becomes lighter.
There's a quiet strength that comes after 60, if you allow it. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't seek validation. It simply exists. It's the strength of knowing who you are and who you are not, of accepting what you can change and what you can't, of choosing peace, truth, and presence over noise. This strength is earned through years of living, of falling and rising, of loving and losing, and it is one of life's greatest gifts.
Lesson 6. What truly matters after 60? As life moves forward, something important begins to change. Your priorities shift. What once felt urgent no longer feels important. What consumed your energy no longer deserves it. And slowly, you begin to understand what truly matters. The first lesson is this: time is the most valuable currency you have. Money can be earned again, lost and rebuilt, saved and spent. But time, once it passes, never returns. After 60, you become deeply aware of this truth. You stop wasting time on people who drain you, on conversations that go nowhere, on situations that disturb your peace, on worries that never come true. You realize that every hour is a gift, and you become careful about how you spend it. You choose rest over rushing, meaning over noise, presence over pressure, because time is not measured in years anymore. It's measured in moments. The second lesson is just as powerful. Health is wealth. Not the kind that sits in a bank account, but the kind that lets you wake up and live your day with comfort. After 60, you learn to listen to your body, not fight it, not ignore it, not push it beyond its limits. You learn when to rest without guilt, when to slow down without shame, when to say no without explanation. You begin to care for yourself without apology. You understand that protecting your health is not selfish, it is necessary. Because without health, everything else loses its meaning. The third lesson comes quietly. Comparison is a thief. When you were young, you compare everything: success, appearance, income, achievements. You measure your life against other people's timelines. But after 60, you understand something deeply freeing. Everyone's path is different. Different struggles, different opportunities, different destinies. You stop measuring your life against someone else's highlight moments. You stop asking, am I ahead or behind? And start asking, Am I at peace? You realize that comparison only steals joy and replaces it with regret, so you let it go. You honor your journey, your pace, your story. And finally, you discover the most beautiful truth of all. Joy is found in simple things, not in excess, not in noise, not in constant activity. Joy lives in quiet moments, a peaceful morning before the world wakes up, a familiar song that brings about a memory, a genuine conversation that feels warm and safe, a moment of stillness where nothing is required of you. After 60, you stop chasing happiness. You allow it to meet you where you are. You understand that joy does not come from having more, it comes from needing less. Peace becomes the reward, not excitement, not validation, not approval, just peace. Peace in your mind, peace in your heart, peace in your daily life. And when you reach this stage, you realize something profound. Life was never about rushing. It was about learning, about shedding what doesn't matter, about protecting what does. Time, health, peace, presence, these are the real riches. And once you understand that, you begin living not faster, but wiser.
Final reflection. The most honest chapter. Aging doesn't take away your value. It reveals it. It slowly removes the noise, the pressure, the need to impress. It strips away illusion. The illusion that you must always be more, that you must prove your worth, that your value depends on approval. With time, what is false falls away. What remains is real. Aging clarifies what matters, not what looks good from the outside, but what feels right on the inside. You begin to see clearly who belongs in your life and who does not. You recognize what deserves your energy and what quietly drains it. You understand that your time is precious, and you no longer spend it trying to earn love or explain your choices. Aging deepens what remains. The love that stays becomes richer. The friendships that endure become sacred. The values that guide you become unshakable. After 60, life is no longer about proving. You are done trying to convince the world that you matter. You no longer chase validation. You no longer compete for attention. You no longer measure yourself against someone else's path. You know who you are, and that knowing brings peace. After 60, life becomes about living. Living gently. Living intentionally. Living truthfully. You wake up more aware of the present moment. You listen more. You rush less. You appreciate what once went unnoticed. You understand that happiness is not found in big achievements. It's found in quiet alignment between who you are and how you live. And if you're willing to listen, if you're willing to slow down and hear what life is teaching you now, these lessons will not guide you toward an ending. They will guide you toward the most honest chapter of all. A chapter where you are no longer pretending. A chapter where your worth does not need defending. A chapter where peace matters more than applause. This chapter may have fewer pages ahead, but the words are truer. The moments are deeper. The days are lived with awareness, not urgency. And in this chapter, you finally understand. You were never falling behind. You were arriving. Arriving at wisdom. Arriving at clarity. Arriving at yourself. So honor this season.
Speak gently to yourself. Move at your own pace. Protect your peace. Because this is not the end of your story. It is the part where everything finally makes sense.